Hi everyone, hope you guys are doing great. In today's video, we are going to continue working on our React JS application, the simple React JS application that we have built in our previous video. And today we will be converting that React application into a Next.js application. Moving along, we will be discussing the server-side component and the client-side component and what differences are there in React and Next.js, and what additional features or additional things which we got out of Next.js. And instead of using a direct library access, we will be using npm. And let's move further, and we will see it along the way. So without further ado, let me open the VS Code. Okay, so this was the page. Let me just run it first. Okay, so you can see we have created a sort of an HTML page. Inside that we were having JavaScript, and then we have included the React, and this button itself is having an interactive state. So like is being, you can see the counter is getting incremented. So moving further, what we are going to do, we need to see basically React itself excel in building great UIs, but it only focus on the UI layer. Whereas it help sort of reusable components which we have developed, but and it also handles a sort of a state and rendering. But what it doesn't provide, basically there is no specialized routing feature. You have to incorporate separately, and data fetching and server side rendering, all these are in Next.js you can get those right away. And in case if you need to provide any sort of routing, so you need to use the React router or some other things. So you can think like Next.js itself is a framework which provide everything inside that, and you can easily use those. So basically it's built on top of React, so you can count that as React plus server side. And we have all other happenings which we do have in the React over here. What does the React or Next.js require? Basically, it requires a specific version of React itself. So when we will be installing the Next.js, it will automatically get those. And what we are going to do now, let's just open our VS Code. Let me just remove this because I've previously used those. Okay, so you can see we have our index HTML page with us. And what we are going to do, we are going to add a new file, and we are going to call this package.json. And let's just create an empty file object. So now within our terminal, what we are going to do, we are going to use npm. So if you can see, previously we were having this, so we'll be removing all these in a while. But let's just do one thing. Let me just add npm. For those who are not aware of what npm is a node package manager, which basically help you download all the packages, or you can think of those as libraries, which our application needs to access when it's working. So all these npm modules are going to be downloaded inside the node modules, and from there it could be easily accessed. So let me just try installing first. We are going to use React at latest, and then we have used React DOM at latest, and then we have next at latest. So you can see we are installing React DOM, and in addition to that we are using the next as well. So let's just try installing this, and hope once we will get all these installed. Let me just pause for a while. So you can see our empty file have been populated with certain dependencies. We have just installed the React, so React version, the latest one is there, sorry, the next one. And React is over here and the React DOM is over here, and you alongside one more file has been automatically generated. So you can see one is a package JSON and the one is a package dash log JSON. The difference between those is that package JSON do have a specific like these sort of version, but package dash log do have the exact version. So uh, in case any dependency or anything else needs to be resolved, you can see that have been added over here. Certain integrity related hashes have been added, and you can see the exact version have been written over here. So this way the issue like when we used to face like it's working on my system, and when we deploy it on cloud it doesn't work. So this is being controlled using this package dash log. So it's preferred to commit and push both these. So npm module can easily use this to generate or get the exact dependencies which are required to run your application, and you can avoid any sort of bugs down the road. So with this being done and said, so let's just move further and see what else we can do. What we need to do, we need to like change our file. So let's just go to the index.html, and we need to change this file a bit. We are going to remove all these, even HTML, because I'll be quick. First, let me remove the scripts which I mentioned to you. Then I'm going to remove this HTML body and even the script tag. Each and everything have been like removed. And let me just remove this as well. So you can see we do have only a function, and let me just remove this return as well. No, not return, script and HTML tag. So you can see it's barely sort of a JavaScript related things are there, or if using this you can say it's JSX. So let me just make it a bit clear. First, what we are going to do, we are going to make it like import. Let me just use an import function. Use state as you have already mentioned to you, like in React, specific functions, or you can say hooks, have been used. So this is used to track the state, and then the function itself is there. Instead of using props, I'll be changing it to something like this. So this way even you can access this title. And let's just return h1, and I would say let you do it this way. Title, this way if the title do exist, title will be written, otherwise a default title will be returned. So this is over here, and home page we will keep that as is. State, we are keeping that over here. The click is there as well. And what else, the return, we are keeping that over here as well, and button is there as well. And what else, the constant dot do. Okay, even I'm going to remove each and everything, the rendering thing which we have done or achieved. So let's just indent it properly. So you can see it's more of a JSX file rather than a HTML file. So what we are going to do, we are going to rename it to JSX file. So this is sort of a file which have been used by React, and it do include Java as well as extended XML, or you can say the HTML, which we have discussed in the last video. And as we have changed this to this file, one more thing to note is that the React was in Next.js, basically file based routing have been used. What does file based routing means? We need to specify specific folders using which we can create a specific route. So we need to create a new folder, and we are going to call that app. And let's just move this index.jsx to this file, and let me just rename this to page. The reason for renaming is that Next.js do follow a convention like page and the layout, and you will be quickly like seeing how we are performing and doing this. So once we have renamed this to a specific uh, page.jsx, let's just try to add export to the this file. So you can see we have our JSX file over here, but for the components to work properly, what we need to do, we need to use export default. So basically this is required, export default, and the rest of the things will remain as is. And one more thing which we are going to do within our package JSON, we are going to add sort of scripts. So let me just add scripts, and within the script, what we are going to do, we are going to use next dev. Okay, so with this being done, you can see we have added a sort of dev server whereby we are going to use the next one. So let's just try running npm run dev. Let's see what happens. Now with this development server, we are going to get a specific URL. So this time we are running a specific server where on this URL something needs to be displayed. So let's see how it works. So let me just open the console as well using F12. So let's see if we get any error or something else. It's taking a while, so don't worry. So we are trying to, let me just pause it. So you can see that we are facing some error. Like previously when we are using it, the only React, it was working fine. But now it says you're importing a component that need use states. Previously we have used that use state and it was working fine. But what actually happens in React, basically those components were sort of client components. But when we moved or shifted to Next.js, what does actually happen? Next.js itself use like server components by default. So you need to explicitly mention use client to make like component client. So before diving deeper, we will be discussing what are the like sort of components there within the Next.js, and then we'll be moving along. So what actually happens, like this use state keeps track of state on the client side. So there is no use having it on a server, or I would say server component. So it is not supported by a server component. So we need to explicitly have a like use client. So moving further, let's just do one thing. Let's see. One more thing I'd like to quickly show you. Like inside our app, apart from page.jsx, there is a layout.js file have been created as well. What does it actually do? So like it is using this root layout, and using that these childrens have been added over here. So this is just to quickly show you how Next.js is creating this like layout file. So moving forward, the server and the client component. Basically, when like in React, you choose where to like place a specific component. So all the components are client side, but when we talk about Next.js do have client components as well as server components. What does like the difference it makes? The difference is that when we try to compile or render things, so what actually happens, let's take an example. A user post, we are pulling it from server, so it's being pulled from the server and it's automatically being generated on the server side. And then rather than like sending right away all the HTML, certain component have been rendered, a tree of server component have been rendered over there, and only those components which are sort of interactive, let's say button or like button component, that needs to be sent to the server to, sorry, the client to render. So this way there are like sort of two, you can think of a tree. So within the tree there are server components and certain are client components. I'll move forward and you'll get an idea what I'm actually referring to. So rather than discussing the theory, let's just move to the actual thing. So let's just create a new file. So let me just create a new file. Okay, so let me just create, I'm going to name this like button.js. So this is going to be a JS file and it's inside the app folder. And I'm going to call this export default, and the function name, as you know, that this is the way to write a component. So this is going to be a like button component. So I'm just keeping it this way. So you can see I'm just creating a client side component like button, which I'm going to include in our page.jsx. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use this page and let me just cut a specific code. I'll remove this one, add it over here. So we can use state over here. Then we have our like button related click event. So let me just cut this as well and put it over here. The second thing is related to the state, because this is the variable which is keeping track of the state. So let me just add the state over here. Let me just add the state over here. So this is one thing. And when I move forward, so there is one more thing being left. I need to do within the page instead of using this. Just give me a minute. Okay, I think I need to move one more thing, like this button needs to be moved as well inside the like button. And let me just have a return statement over here. Let me just put it this way. So button and all the related things have been moved to this like button. And let me just use this component inside our page. So let's just try running this. One more thing, as we are creating this as a client component, let's just use client. Let me just save it. And now let me see what problem we are facing. So let me just see, close it, and let me run it again. It's starting again, and let's see what actually now we face. So it says the link button is not defined. The reason is that I haven't imported. I have created that one, but I haven't imported that inside our page. And one more thing, sorry, I have used it in the wrong place. It should be over here, because this is the client function. That's one thing. And what else? Let's just try rerunning it. Let me just close it. I'm trying to run it again and see what error we face. Okay, one more thing which we need to have inside our page, like we need to import the our button inside this. So let's just try importing it. Import. Okay, so let's see if it works or not. Let me just try saving it. So still there is some issue. We are facing random issues, so don't worry. And what else? The like button page, the React itself is not being used. So, okay, one thing I think we should have used this React, not this one. So let me just see if this is the right one. For some reason, it's not showing up. The There's some issue. Okay, so one more thing I need to do, I need to use React and I need to import that as well. And let's see if it works fine. Let me just close this, try running again, and let me just open that. So you can see now we have the same things, but this time we are using Next.js. So our page is like over here being rendered with a client side component as well, and certain things have been rendered on the server. So hopefully you might have got an idea how Next.js is a bit different from React and how we can easily like migrate or change our React application to Next.js. So thank you for watching. Hopefully we will continue further things in the upcoming video. And one more thing I would like to explicitly mention, like we'll be developing a sort of dashboard in Next.js in the upcoming videos. So stay tuned. And if you like this video, feel free to subscribe and like. Thank you. Thanks for watching.